Hi everyone, it's Vickie Kello, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Brisbane, and of course it's just started to bucket down with rain, so hopefully it's not too bad that you can hear me. We got anyone watching? I can't see anyone on. We might not because of the rain, and I'm a little bit early. Alright, if you pop on, just let me know and say hi. If you pop on. So I just thought today's the last week in February. So today's the this is the last week in February. So if you're after any of the free celebration items, I'll need to receive your order before the 28th of February to get those. Now, have we got anyone watching? I can't even see on my phone if anyone was watching. It's very daunting when nobody's watching, but anyway. Okay, so I'll just keep going. So if anyone's after anything from Celebrations, I will need to receive that order this week. But the catalogues will still be valid until May, June for that. All right. What we got? Okay. All right, maybe it's just the rain delaying everybody, but I thought tonight we would get on and we'd make a card. I've got so many birthdays coming up. I was telling you last week that I've got a few, and I've got a few male birthdays that need to be made. So I made this one over the weekend, and I thought I'd make a couple more in this design. This is called a bridge card. So I'll make this one with you guys tonight in a male design, and go from there. So pop this down. Now I am going to make 2 cards tonight. Just getting all my bits and pieces. Ready? So I've got, this is using cinnamon cider. One's off. Comments on. All right, if you are watching, just let me know and pop on with a comment, because I don't seem to be having any comments come up. But it might be because everyone's off with the rain. But anyway. So you need a piece that is 21 centimeters. Now, I don't usually work in centimeters, but I found this tutorial in centimeters, so I'm working with it. 21 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. So this is half of a A4 width cardstock, and this is, I think, the width of an A4 cardstock. So you should be able to get 2 bases still out of a piece of A4 cardstock. So it needs to be 21 centimeters by 10.5, and then you score it 3 and 6, and then you can flip it round and score it 3 and 6 again. Then we just need to fold these. So you fold the second score line first, and you fold that towards you, and then the first score line back. And then do the other side. So this does appear to be a smaller size card than normal, but how this will still fit in a normal size envelope because it will lie flat like that. So that's why it's a little bit smaller, because it will lie flat, and you can post with one side. So as long as you've put it together properly, you can fold it either way and it will lie flat and still post. So you can decorate the middle like I have here. Once this put together, because you can't really take this off because that's what's holding it, this does make it a little bit hard to write here. So then you can write here on the back. So then just lie it flat and write on the back. So that's what we'll do with this one. So I said I'm using cinnamon cider, and because I'm making birthday cards for 2 boys, or 2 males, in one of them's got their birthday on Wednesday and the other one is next week, I'm going to use Whiskey Business for one and Geared Up Garage for the other one. So we'll do the Whiskey Business one first, and so I'm using cinnamon cider for that. And then I've got 2 pieces of white cardstock. Now these are 10 centimeters by 8.5 centimeters, and these are for the center, front and back, so that you've got that panel to write in once it's put together. So that's those pieces. I've got 2 pieces of DSP. Now on this card here, I did an additional layer, so I've done cardstock, then a layer of cardstock, then the DSP. But on this card, I'm just going to do cardstock and DSP. So the DSP is 2.5 centimeters wide and 10 centimeters long. So I'm just going to adhere the DSP with seal. I went with the wood grain of the In Colour DSP pack because I kind of thought it looks a bit like a bar. And it's definitely a male colour. I know a lot of us really struggle with the male cards. You could definitely add a layer of white underneath that so it pops, that DSP pops a bit more. But I'm not in this case, but that's all right. Okay, and then we can stamp our inside and back pieces. So I've got cinnamon cider here as my colour. I think, so the panel that goes across, you can really do it any size you want, but I've done this as an inch panel, and then the white piece is 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm just trying to work out which one I want on the panel and which one I want inside. There's so many sentiments in this set. So we've got Cheers to You, which should be a nice one. And then Straight Up, You're the Best. That could maybe go on the front. We don't need Being a Dad is Whiskey Business, although this is for my father-in-law. I would say Sending You an Old-Fashioned Birthday Card. Sending You an Old-Fashioned Birthday Card can go on the back piece. And I might do your top shelf instead of cheers to you on the front. Okay, so your top shelf. Just lining that up. Oh, I've smudged that a lot. Let's turn that over. Try not to move the stamp so much this time. That's better. Even when you've been doing stamping for a few years, I still make mistakes. There's always two sides to a bit of cardstock, which is good. And we've got the wood piece and the lime, so we're just going to pop that over there. Now, old-fashioned birthday. I've used cinnamon cider cardstock a few times, but I'm not sure I've used the cinnamon cider ink. So all right, I'm just gonna hop out of this on thing and see whether I can see any comments. It's very all right, still no comments, but that's okay. I'll just keep going. So I'm going to have that birthday, and then I'm going to stamp the wood grain just in the corners, just for a bit of something on the back. So I'm going to do that on all four corners. And then I've got another block over here that I'm going to do. Just got to be careful because that, where I've stamped off the paper there, it's a bit wet in case I don't stamp straight and need the back side of the cardstock. Straight up, you're the best. Because I do have a pretty good father-in-law. And then I'm just going to add this lemon lime twist thing. I'm gonna add a piece there, add a piece there. All right, let's close up this ink and put these stamps away. To clean that one. Okay, so then I'm going to stick this one on the back. Just using my seal. This one on the inside. And then adhere this strip to the other strip. Now this strip is 15 centimeters long. And then I did 1 inch wide, and then the white strip was 15 centimeters long as well. but I did an 1/8 of an inch off. Okay, so when you're adhering this, you want to adhere it with the card made up like this. So you don't want to have adhesive on across the whole lot. So just put adhesive on one and just about, this is 3 centimeters wide, so just about an inch on here. And then you can line that up. Don't have it right to the bottom. Line that up. Then you can flip that over and again put adhesive on the last inch. Oh, I've stuck that to my mat. Move that up. Okay. And when you're putting this together, you want this to be flat. So fold this piece in here, push that in, push this flat, and then stick that down. Then you know it's definitely going to fold flat either way. Okay, and that's going to fit in your envelope. Now what I've done earlier, and I'll show you this on the second card that we're going to do, I've stamped the whiskey bottle and the whiskey glasses, and I've cut them out. You have to fussy cut them, there's no dies for these. So I've fussy cut them out, and then what I've done is I've coloured these with alcohol markers, so the blends. I've used Pool Party, Cinnamon Cider, Pumpkin Pie, coloured them all in, and then I've gone over them. I've done a video previously where I've used the fine tip glue, but I also this time decided to use the shimmery crystal effects. I don't know whether this is carried over. This was in the Christmas catalogue, and I know it carried over for a little bit, but I don't know whether it's still carried over. But I had this on my desk the other day and not the fine tip glue, so this is what I chose to use. I actually find this, the shimmery crystal effects doesn't make the colours run as much as the fine tip glue does. So I'm liking this, and you get a bit of sparkle. Even though it's a bloke's card, get a bit of sparkle in there, and I like it. So then you just need to pop this on kind of either side, how you want it. But when you stick it down, you need to make sure that you only have adhesive on this tab where it hits here. Otherwise, when you go to close the card, it's going to stick to the back. So I'm just going to stick it on the bottom half of the bottle. Now I'm just using the end pieces of my dimensionals, so these pieces will work just fine. For it. Okay, so we'll stick the bottle down first. Now it does take a little while for the shimmery effects to dry, so I actually did this last night to make sure that these were going to be dry enough for the card today to pop on. Could have maybe moved that down just a little bit, but that's all right. It's stuck there now. But I will show you what I did with the next card, because I'll make it, but I'll won't be able to put it together. Okay, so, and then that's my bridge card for my father-in-law. Done and dusted. Now the next card is, we're going to use the Geared Up Garage. So we've got the same pieces, and I've just die cut some of the gears already. I've already stamped and die cut some of the other pieces. This set does come with coordinating dies. So you cut out the car, the gears, some sentiments. They all kind of match in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll just, over the cardstock here, I'm going to show you what I did with the crystal effects. And it's just going to make these a bit shiny and sparkly. Now, some of you might have just normal crystal effects. Stampin' Up used to sell that years ago, but I've still got some of that as well somewhere. But at the moment, in the Christmas catalogue, we only had the shimmery. And what it does, it's a bit like glossy accents. Just, I stored it up the wrong way. I stored it up the right way in my caddy last night after I used it. I should have stored it upside down. So I'm just pushing the crystal effects on. Now you don't need a massive coat on here. Obviously the thicker the coat, the longer it takes to dry. And this just makes it all shiny and glittery and sparkly and glossy. So especially if you don't have the foil paper or anything like that. I was going to cut this in the foil paper because these look amazing in the foil. Oh, my hand is... I suggest once you've opened this to store it upside down like this in a container, because then everything flows to the bottom and you don't have to squeeze so hard to try and get it out. I'm squeezing quite hard to try and get this out. But now it's finally come to the tip, which is great, and I'm not having to squeeze so hard. So suggestion is to store it upside down. And you just go along and you colour or cover the whole cardstock. It worked really well with the whiskey bottle because it gave it a bit of a shine like glasses have. And so I've used that, or the clear, the fine tip glue, every time I've used that whiskey bottle. But it's an effect or technique that you can use on many different projects. Okay. Just a couple more, and then I'll put the other card together, but I might not be able to completely decorate it because these probably won't be dry. Oh, I'm getting a bit of a cramp. I did find this doesn't seem to warp the cardstock or the picture underneath as much as the fine tip glue. When I use the fine tip glue, I find my glasses and my whiskey bottle tend to warp quite a lot. But I was very surprised when I got up this morning and they weren't warped. I'm just storing that back upside down. And then, I'm not sure whether you can see that on camera or not, but now that's got a bit of a glossy sheen to it. Now what I could have done before that is like aged the cogs and got them really dirty and roughed up, and and things like that, and then put the gloss over it, but just wanted to show you that technique. Now this one, just got to be careful where I had that glossy accents or crystal effects. I'm using Mango Melody as the DSP, and I'm using Pacific Point as my cardstock for this one. Same measurements as last card. Alright, and then we can just fold that in. I've got crystal effects on my nail, I can feel it. So with this one, the stamping, I think we're going to have Your Classic there, all geared up to celebrate. We'll probably have the Puffs of Smoke and that. Now this is for my son, who's going to be 22, so I don't really want to do, he's not a father and it's not Father's Day, and I don't really want to put You Jumpstart My Heart on there. So I might put this Enjoy the Moment. This has got a nice happy birthday here, which is like a, I like the font for mail cards. So it's not too scrolly, not too girly. Now, you can do that You're a Classic in the, we'll see what it's like in the Mango Melody, and if it's terrible we can turn it over and stamp it in the Pacific Point. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Not liking that at all. So we'll stamp in Pacific Point. There. Now, I think we'll keep the rest of the stamping in Pacific Point. So on the back, we'll have a Happy Birthday from the Enjoy the Moment stamp set. Then we'll stamp these little nuts on there. And then on the other bit of the card, I like those nuts. Might just stick those nuts here too. Put them away. Then this one is all geared up to celebrate. And then this is like Puffs of Smoke. On there. Put those down, close up that ink pad. Then we can put some of these down. So I'd hear that. Hear that one. I need to change the blade in my trimmer. That's why I'm getting some fuzzy bits. And then stick this one. Well, that's a bit hard to see on that. That looks very crooked. Yeah, let's see whether we can cut another piece of Pacific Point. That's not long enough. One's not quite as bad. Still can't see it on that mat. There we go. And then same deal, we just put adhesive on the first inch. Lay that where you want that. Flip that over. Adhesive on the first inch again. And this time fold that in, have that flat, and that will line up. So that's that. Now the other pieces to this, I've stamped the car, the oil and the toolbox already and cut them out with the dies. And then I've got some blends. These are the Mango Melody. Blends. So just colour that in. I'm going to do a blue strip, so I'm only going to colour some of the car. Then we don't have Pacific Point colours, blends, but we do have the Misty Moonlight or Seaside Spray. So I'm going to use Seaside Spray. For that strip there. And the mirror. And then what I used on the glass for the a whiskey. Bottles was just the light pool party. So I think that kind of works well. And we'll just get the dark. No, this is the light Night of Navy. I'm just going to colour those ties in. So that's that one done. The oil can be all this Night of Navy. Probably should have done a different stripe, but that's all right. Alright, so that's all that. And then the toolbox, I've got Balmy Blue here too. All of these blues are working with the Pacific Point, so don't think that you have to have a particular colour to make this work. I think they're all working. Then I'm just going to use the bullet end and colour these tools. In the Mango Melody. I think in the 2 years that I've had this set, this is the first time I've used this toolbox and coloured it in. I've used the car heaps of times, I've just never coloured the toolbox. Okay, so the idea is to have them on here somehow. We might not use all of them. I like that. I might stick that there, in there. And then they're touch dry. I'm not going to actually stick them down, but what I think I'm going to do is stick them behind that. And kind of something like that. And we probably won't use this fuel can. And maybe stick those in there, seeing as I've cut them out and done them. So I think that's going to be my finished card then with this one. So we've made the 2 male cards, and this was my original one that I made over the weekend as the female version. So hopefully you enjoyed the cards tonight, and look forward to catching up with you all next week. Thanks. Bye.